Before diving into this incredible story, consider subscribing to the channel and hitting the bell. Every story here has something to say, and you won't want to miss a single one. The city center was bustling that morning. The streets sparkled in the sunlight, and the scent of cafes and pastries mingled with the fresh summer air. Amid the hustle and bustle, Jasmine Carter, a 22-year-old black woman, walked with purpose. A marketing student, she was known for her intelligence, grace, and determination. Today, she had a simple mission: find the perfect gift for her mother's birthday. She entered Luxury and Elegance, a boutique renowned for its high-end clothing and accessories. As soon as she walked through the door, she felt the heavy gaze of other customers. The store shone brightly: mirrors, illuminated windows, and mannequins dressed in luxurious gowns. But something was off. Jasmine sensed a subtle tension in the air, an atmosphere she had encountered before, unfortunately too many times. As she walked between the shelves, she caught the eye of Clara Whitman, a wealthy and influential client in the city. Clara's gaze wasn't just suspicious, it was full of disdain. Under her breath, Clara murmured, "What is she doing here?" Jasmine, oblivious to the conflict that had just arisen, focused on her task. She didn't yet know that this encounter would transform her life, reveal the strength and courage that lay dormant within her, and provoke public humiliation for the one who had dared to judge her. That morning, a simple outing to buy a gift would become the scene of a lesson in dignity, justice, and truth that no one would forget. Jasmine Carter gently pushed open the store door. Luxury and Elegance, the bell rang, announcing her arrival, but the atmosphere inside seemed to suddenly freeze. Mirrors reflected her movements, and glittering glass cases showcased the luxurious gowns, but something told her she wasn't really welcome here. She took a deep breath, repeating to herself, "I'm a customer, I have the right to be here. Don't panic." The soft footsteps of the employees echoed on the polished marble floor. Jasmine cautiously browsed the aisles, observing the exorbitant prices of the accessories and clothing. She approached a shelf full of brightly colored silk scarves. Her heart beat a little faster. She had found exactly what she was looking for: her mother. But she suddenly felt an icy stare on her. Clara Whitman, a white woman in her 50s, dressed in an impeccable suit, was staring at her intensely. Her eyes shone with a mixture of suspicion and disdain. She whispered to one of the saleswomen, "Who is she? She doesn't belong here." The saleswoman, uncomfortable, lowered her eyes and whispered, I don't know, madam." Clara frowned in irritation. She took a step toward Jasmine, interrupting her choice of scarf. "Excuse me, you should leave the store. This is not a place for, well, you understand." Jasmine straightened up, surprising Clara with her calmness. "I'm a customer like everyone else. I expect to pay for what I choose." Clara stared at her, as if this answer were inconceivable, and raised her voice to attract the attention of the surrounding employees. "I don't want to see you here. You don't belong in this store." A few customers stopped shopping, curious about this unexpected confrontation. Jasmine felt the pressure mounting, but instead of giving in, she took out her phone and began filming the scene. If anyone is going to figure out what's going on, it needs to be documented, she thought, her inner voice calm despite the humiliation. Clara's tone rose again, but Jasmine remained motionless, silently preparing the turning point that would turn this morning into a lesson in dignity and justice. Clara Whitman couldn't bear to have Jasmine standing there. Her face hardened and her voice rose, capturing the attention of several customers around her. "I told you to leave," she exclaimed, pointing at Jasmine. Jasmine, impassive, raised her phone to continue filming. Her voice was firm but calm. "I haven't done anything wrong. I'm here like any other customer and I intend to pay whatever I choose." Clara shrugged in exasperation. "It doesn't matter. This store isn't for you. I don't want to see you here, do you hear me?" An older customer, who witnessed the scene, frowned. "It's unbelievable, you can't treat her like that." Clara ignored this comment and turned to a saleswoman, demanding, "Get her out immediately." The saleswoman hesitated, visibly uncomfortable, but shook her head. I can't. She's a customer and pays for her items. Jasmine felt a wave of relief wash over her, but her determination remained intact. She knew this moment had to be documented. The other customers began to whisper among themselves, some shocked by Clara's audacity and others admiring Jasmine's calm. Clara, furious that her will was being thwarted, took a threatening step towards Jasmine. I order you to leave. Jasmine, holding up her phone to film even more clearly, replied in a calm but firm voice. No one can order me to leave without reason. I am here legally and respectfully. The tension in the store became palpable. Customers' murmurs turned into indignant stares, and several employees tentatively approached Jasmine to show their silent support. Clara, sensing her authority eroding, paled slightly but continued to glare at Jasmine. It was at this precise moment that an imposing figure appeared at the entrance of the store, ready to change the course of this confrontation. The ringing of the bell announced the arrival of a new entrant to the store. Jasmine looked up and saw a dapper man in his 50s, wearing a perfectly tailored suit, walking confidently toward the bustle at the center of the aisles. His imposing presence immediately silenced the murmurs of the customers. This man was none other than Marcus Carter, CEO of Lux and Elegance, and Jasmine's father. His dark eyes swept the scene and settled on Clara, who was still pointing at Jasmine. Marcus walked forward calmly, each step echoing in the silence of the store. Excuse me, madam, he said, his voice calm but authoritative. Perhaps you don't know who you're speaking with. I'm Marcus Carter, CEO of this store, and this young woman's father. Clara instantly blanched. Her eyes widened, and her face betrayed panic. The customers around her began to whisper, some realizing who was really involved in this scene. Jasmine, still holding her phone, felt a mixture of relief and pride. Her father didn't need to raise his voice, his mere presence commanded respect and immediately calmed the chaos. Marcus stared straight into Clara's eyes. I advise you to apologize immediately. Clara, unable to answer, stammered out a clumsy apology. I didn't mean to. But the shame was evident. The silence in the store, punctuated by the curious and indignant looks of customers, amplified every word spoken. An employee approached Marcus and whispered. Mr. Carter, you came at the right time. Marcus nodded. He knew this moment would be a lesson in dignity and respect, not only for Jasmine, but for everyone who witnessed the scene. Jasmine felt a wave of satisfaction wash over her. The turning point had just happened. What had started as a public humiliation would now turn into a lesson in humility for Clara and strength for Jasmine. Marcus placed a reassuring hand on his daughter's shoulder and whispered. You reacted very well, Jasmine. Let's stay calm, everything will be resolved. At that moment it was clear that power and authority were on Jasmine's side, and that Clara would have to face the consequences of her arrogance. Clara Whitman stepped back slightly, her cheeks flushed with shame and anger. She blinked several times, desperately searching for a way out. But Marcus Carter's imposing silence and Jasmine's trusting gaze paralyzed her. Mr. Carter. It wasn't. Clara stammered, trying to justify herself. Marcus stares at her, impassive. Madam, there is no justification for this. You humiliated a customer for completely unjustified reasons. Jasmine, still holding her phone, felt a surge of adrenaline. Every word her father said reinforced her dignity and courage. She now felt the entire store silently supporting her. Several customers exchanged approving glances and indignant murmurs. It's unbelievable, she dared to treat her like that. Finally, someone who keeps calm. Clara, frustrated and unable to handle the situation, turned her gaze towards the employees. You heard what I said. Get her out. But no employee dared to move. Some shook their heads, others murmured in low voices. No, she's right. Jasmine felt a new confidence flood her. She was no longer just defending herself, she was becoming a symbol for all those who had ever been judged and humiliated without reason. Marcus took a deep breath and placed a hand on his daughter's shoulder. Jasmine, you've been exemplary. Stay calm, and everything will be fine. Clara, feeling that she was completely losing control, whispered. I'm sorry. But his apologies sounded hollow and forced. Marcus's gaze left no doubt, he was there to protect his daughter, and he would not allow an arrogant client to undo what justice and dignity demanded. Jasmine, phone still in hand, sensed that the turning point was imminent. The situation that had begun as a humiliation was now about to turn into a lesson in respect and courage, and Clara was going to have to pay the price in front of all the witnesses. The silence in the store was heavy. The customers, previously curious, were now attentive to every word, every gesture. Clara Whitman, frozen in front of Marcus Carter and Jasmine, knew she had to act, but every sentence seemed to escape her. I'm sorry, she finally whispered, her voice trembling. Marcus stared at her calmly. Madam, your apology must be sincere. What you did was not acceptable. Clara looked down, unable to meet Jasmine's gaze. The customers around her began to clap softly, some whispering. Finally, she understands. It's a lesson she won't soon forget. Jasmine, still holding the phone, remained calm. She knew that every second recorded would be proof of the dignity and strength with which she had reacted. She felt a mixture of relief and pride wash over her. Marcus placed a reassuring hand on his shoulder. Well done, Jasmine. Remaining calm in the face of injustice is always the best response. Clara, blushing and humiliated, whispered again. I didn't mean to offend you. But the truth was that his behavior had been thoughtless and discriminatory. The customers present, who witnessed the scene, had no doubt about the seriousness of his attitude. An employee approached timidly and said, Madam, we hope you now understand why our anti-discrimination policies are strict. Clara nodded, her face contorted with shame. Jasmine put her phone away, knowing this moment would be remembered by everyone who had witnessed it. What had started as a public humiliation had turned into lesson in courage, dignity, and justice, and Jasmine came out stronger than ever. Marcus led Jasmine out, and the customers applauded as they passed, some praising them for their calm and courage. That day, Jasmine learned that dignity wasn't just about strength, but also about patience and wisdom in the face of injustice. After the incident, Marcus guided Jasmine to his office, located on the top floor of the store. The large bay windows offered a panoramic view of the city, bathing the room in a soft, comforting light. Marcus closed the door behind them and invited Jasmine to sit down. He took a moment before speaking, as if choosing the right words. Jasmine, he began, his gaze serious but tender, I'm so proud of you. The way you handled this situation, your calm, your dignity, it was perfect. Jasmine felt her heart warm. Thank you, Dad. But I only did what I had to. I just wanted to show that no one should be shamed for the color of their skin. Marcus nodded. Exactly. And you did it in an exemplary manner. Few people would have had your courage. Many would have given in to fear or anger. He paused for a moment, his eyes fixed on his daughters. What you did today isn't just about you. It's an example to all those who suffer injustice and discrimination. You've shown that strength lies in calm and conviction. Jasmine smiled, grateful for her father's presence and support. She thought of Clara, her clumsy apology, and all the stares in the store that morning. Dad. She whispered, I'm glad you're here. I don't know how I would have managed without you. Marcus placed a hand on his shoulder and said softly. You didn't need me to be strong, Jasmine. You were strong on your own. Today, you turned a humiliation into a life lesson. Their conversation continued, and Marcus explained to his daughter that the incident would also be used to reinforce anti-discrimination training for his employees and show everyone that dignity and respect are never negotiable. Jasmine understood that this moment was more than just a store altercation. It was a moral victory and a clear signal that injustice could be confronted with intelligence and courage. Jasmine's phone buzzed incessantly as she left the office with her father. Notifications poured in, messages, calls, and most importantly, shares of the video she'd shot. Every second of her calm demeanor with Clara had been captured and shared on social media. "Dad, look at this," she said, pointing at her screen. The video had already gone viral, racking up thousands of views and admiring comments. Internet users praised her dignity and strength. "Look how she keeps her calm despite the injustice. That's exactly what we need, courage and respect." Marcus nodded, impressed. "Jasmine, you have no idea the impact you've had. You didn't just stand up for your rights, you inspired thousands of people." Meanwhile, Clara Whitman was receiving the most unexpected messages and notifications of her life. Her clumsy apology had been seen by hundreds of people, and the comments were coming thick and fast. "You are shameful. The lesson you've been needing for a long time." Humiliated, Clara realized her reputation was compromised. The video clearly showed her discriminatory behavior, and there was no way to erase it from the collective memory. Inside the store, employees watched the online reactions with amazement. Some whispered among themselves, "It's incredible, she turned a shameful situation into a victory." Others added, "And the CEO, what an example for everyone." Jasmine, her heart pounding, felt a surge of pride. What had started as a simple visit to buy a gift had turned into a historic moment, reminding all that dignity, patience and courage can overturn injustice. Marcus placed a hand on his daughter's shoulder and said softly, "Today you showed that true power comes not from fear or intimidation, but from inner strength and respect." Jasmine smiled, knowing that the day would be remembered by everyone who witnessed the confrontation, and beyond, thanks to the viral nature of the video. In the days that followed, Clara Whitman felt the full extent of her actions. Notifications on her phone kept coming in, emails from colleagues, private messages, missed calls. The video of her humiliating behavior in the store was circulating everywhere, and she could no longer ignore it. At work, her colleagues now viewed her with suspicion and distance. Some friends she thought were close avoided speaking to her. Even her social media contacts were becoming more critical. "It's shameful to treat someone like that. I hope you learned your lesson." Clara tried to send a few apologies, but they seemed futile. Everyone knew the story by now, and the viral nature of the video had amplified the impact of her behavior. She felt a deep humiliation, different from the one she had inflicted on Jasmine. Meanwhile, Jasmine and her father were watching the situation unfold from a distance. Marcus explained to his daughter, "Jasmine, look what's happening. You've done more than just an act of courage. You've turned a moment of injustice into a lesson for hundreds, maybe thousands of people." Jasmine nodded, reflecting on the reactions from online users and the outpouring of support she was receiving. But her mind remained focused on what mattered most: dignity, justice, and respect for others. In the store, employees recounted the incident over and over again to new customers. "Do you know what happened here last week? It was incredible." The young woman remained calm despite the discrimination. Clara, for her part, began to understand that it was not only her personal reputation that had been affected, but also the moral impact of her actions. She had humiliated an innocent client in front of witnesses, and this humiliation was now amplified by social and media justice. Jasmine, soothed but still attentive, knew she had won something far more precious than mere victory in a store: respect, strength and example for all those who suffered injustice on a daily basis. The day after the video went viral, Marcus invited Jasmine to his office to calmly discuss the situation. The calm in the room contrasted with the media frenzy outside. "Jasmine," Marcus began, his gaze serious but proud, "what happened yesterday showed the world your courage and dignity. But it also reminds us that we have a responsibility as a company." Jasmine listened carefully, considering the implications of the incident. "You mean, we need to strengthen our anti-discrimination policies?" she asked. Marcus nodded. "Exactly. We need to make sure no one goes through what you did. That means training our employees, creating a safe environment for all customers, and showing that respect is non-negotiable." Jasmine smiled, inspired by her father's vision. "Dad, I'm ready to help. I want this store to be an example, a place where everyone can feel accepted. Marcus placed a hand on his shoulder. Your strength yesterday is the beginning of something bigger. We will turn this ordeal into an opportunity to show that dignity and respect are at the heart of our company. Later that day, they met with employees to discuss new initiatives, diversity training, protocols for handling conflict, and procedures for reporting discriminatory behavior. The atmosphere in the store immediately changed. Employees felt valued, and customers noticed. Jasmine realized that this experience was more than just an incident, it had served as a catalyst for creating a more just and inclusive environment. This moment of tension had turned into a collective victory, and she understood that courage and dignity can inspire change around us. Days after the incident, local and national media picked up the video of Jasmine in the store. Each shot showed her patience, calm, and dignity in the face of discrimination. Social media was ablaze with hashtags and comments celebrating her courage. Jasmine Carter has become an example for all, read one online article. It shows that dignity and courage always triumph over injustice, commented another internet user. The atmosphere in the store had changed dramatically. Inspired by Jasmine's example, employees were more attentive and caring toward all customers. New anti-discrimination policies were already in place, and Marcus Carter personally ensured that the store remained a safe and respectful place for everyone. Clara Whitman, for her part, had to face the extent of her mistakes. Her public apologies, her attempts to justify herself, all of this no longer carried the necessary weight in the face of Jasmine's exemplary behavior. Not only had she been humiliated, but she had also become aware of the extent of her prejudices. Jasmine, walking alongside her father through the store, felt a surge of pride and serenity wash over her. She knew that what had happened wasn't just a personal victory, it was a lesson for all those who suffered injustices, large or small. Marcus placed a hand on his shoulder and said with a smile, "You have shown everyone that true strength comes not from intimidation, but from dignity and courage. I am proud of you, Jasmine." Jasmine smiled, moved but firm in her conviction. "Thank you, Dad. Today we have proven that injustice can be faced with calm and respect, and that every action can inspire change." So what started as a simple trip to buy a gift had turned into a historic moment, a symbol of courage and dignity, reminding everyone that justice and respect always triumph when we dare to stand strong in the face of injustice. The young woman who had been humiliated in a store had now inspired an entire community. And in her heart, Jasmine knew this was just the beginning of a fight for the fairness and respect everyone deserves.